It's Wednesday, the 19th of February, and it's a clear but cold day. And we thought we might come out into the garden because there have been or are going to be some big projects going on here. Now, if you can imagine, you see these very tall trees that are in somebody else's garden there. Well, we had very tall trees at the bottom of the garden. Two that had been wedged close together and ivy was killing them and they were becoming a danger to the neighbours. And so we had those felled. Plus, in this sort of junky little bed over here, we had another one felled. It was one of those conifer trees that were very popular in UK gardens back in the 70s. They were all the rage. None of the trees had been particularly well cared for. Weather, disease, and planting too close together, and ivy certainly took care of the ones at the end. So now we're reveling in the amount of light and energy that the garden is suddenly flooded with. We wouldn't in a million years consider chopping down trees that were healthy and were offering benefit to the environment, but these were certainly not. And as I say, they were dangerous. Two rather large branches just missed a friend and neighbour of ours, which is not good. And we have children in the house next door, and a branch fell there. So really, that was it. So I'll give you a little look at the plan here, what we're doing. These are some great stumps that were left over from the conifer that we're going to make something out of. I'm going to renovate this bench. And this roughy tufty area here, we've got a tiny little greenhouse that we are going to move and put here. We have to just make the space good for it to go on here. So we'll lay down some more of these paving slabs and level it off. In this bed here, you can see there the stump of the conifer. And this bed has always been a bit wild. Obviously, it had a conifer in it, so nothing grew except weeds. And we always get a good crop of ivy here, and we use ivy for plant food, and it's good for the wildlife. So this bed, what we thought we'd do is we will make it probably much like these other two beds, you see, and we'll probably build a big compost bin at the back over the top of the tree stump and the roots, and that will help to rot down the stump and produce more compost for the garden. So we want to see how self-sufficient we can be in compost, kind of getting into permaculture. Raspberries over the back there. This bed needs, we're converting to no dig, by the way, the no dig method. So I just need to cover this with cardboard before we top it up for the growing season. So it looks a complete mess because we are pulling out an old pond that's been there since the 70s. The liner was damaged. It wasn't much good anymore. And so this is what Steve started on yesterday. It's a shame, you know, it was a loved old feature of the garden, but you know, you have to go with the flow, and what we really want is more growing room. Here is my little Millie wooden polycarbonate greenhouse. That was a cheap and cheerful one, and that's the one we're going to tart up a bit and move further up the garden. It's tiny, but it served its purpose these past 4 years for germinating seeds and growing bits and bobs. So today we are busy moving all of this hardcore from the pond, getting it all up on the patio, ready to take over to our local tip. That's phase 1. Phase 2, is Steve there, will be digging out this buddleia. It is a nice buddleia. I think it's called Black Knight, so we will be taking some cuttings of it. The rest will be shredded and put into the compost or on paths. And then we've got this lovely old bird bath there, which we will have to move. This whole area where the pond is, we are going to have a larger greenhouse. So it will start where this one is, and it will end just short of the edge of this bed. Probably have a little path next to it for maintenance, etc. And it will be an 8 foot by 6 foot greenhouse, which is, I think, when I had my very first greenhouse in the early 90s, when we got our house originally, our older house, that was the size of the greenhouse I had there. So that's the project for today. Well, probably a number of days actually. And the next few days have turned into a month later. And let's see where we're at in the garden. So the first thing you will notice is where the little greenhouse was, down by that yellow forsythia shrub. We dragged it all the way up the garden and placed it here. The roughy tufty area where the bench was has been cleared, and Steve has repurposed some old paving slabs and relaid them. We've just got to finish setting these bricks in properly at the front, which is why the piece of wood is there to hold everything. Here are two of my lovely old reclaimed chimney pots. One was a wedding present many, many years ago. And I like to put flower pots in there with trailing plants in the summer. So in this little mini greenhouse, I've got some potatoes chitting. This bed, where there is the nettle, do you remember I made an error early on and called it ivy because, hello, menopause brain. So you can see a nice flash of nettle coming up. We got rid of one of the old plastic compost bins. I've got that one left. We still, as you can see, have not done anything with this bed yet. We've certainly moved this out of the way, this bird table. Still got to put it somewhere, but as you can see, we're still very much in transition. I think the most important update is the new greenhouse has come and we are in the stages of building that. Yesterday, we levelled the ground and cemented the posts of the four corners of the base in. And we've constructed the two ends, and we have the sides lurking about somewhere else in the garden. We've cleared a lot around this area. The big bed there, well, it's still covered in cardboard, which is suppressing the weeds. We've still got a big white sack of things, old plant clippings and things to process, to put in the compost bin, and the logs from the trees that were cut down. We're deciding what to do with those. Some will go to a wood turner, we think, so we can make something nice out of them, to have something to remember the lovely old tree by. So when I started this video, I think it was about the 19th of February. It's just past spring equinox. We are currently the 22nd of March. I'll bring you down here a little bit. This bed here, we've spread some homemade compost, the first homemade compost that we've managed to do. It's a bit roughy tufty, but it works and it's lovely and it smells amazing. So we can replant this bed up slowly but surely. We've got a little old sink pond here. That's another project. Oh, and another thing that I've been doing is, you can see these fence panels need a bit of TLC. But these two here, which will be where the greenhouse is going to be, I have painted and stained with wood preservative, nice dark colour. So that should last for a few more years. So yeah, we've been clearing this area This bed will probably be one of the last beds to sort out, actually. Over here, oh, there are the sides of the greenhouse. An old bird table I've got to fix up. My blackcurrant bush slowly bursting into life. This beautiful corkscrew hazel. Lovely catkins. I think the bees are about. I can hear them somewhere. Wild bees. I don't have bees. That's a project for another time. I'd like to get bees. So, do you remember here was the pond and the buddleia that Steve dug up? And we have taken all of the rubble over to our local tip. But look, we still keep finding more rubbishy crap. Some flower pots I'm just cleaning up a bit. And yeah, that's where we are about a month later. So there's still plenty to do, We're pleased with the greenhouse, the little move. We put this literally on 2 pieces of wood and pushed it up the garden, and then laid more wooden planks in front of it and pushed it up the garden between the 2 of us. So for 260 somethings, that's not too bad. This does need a little bit of TLC. We're going to replace some of the acrylic perspex windows, and some of this woodwork needs replacing as well. So this little greenhouse I'm going to use for potting up. It's too cold here to germinate outdoors. And then I can store some pots in here, sow seeds, various other bits and bobs. And then when I finish seed sowing in the summer, I could probably stand some pepper and chili plants in that greenhouse, I think. Over here, well, there's the bench. That's still earmarked for renovation. And we've got various pieces of brick that we've got from other projects that we need to put away or decide where they're going. Plenty to keep us going, I think. So that concludes the tour so far. When we are in a better position with this, and when we finish the greenhouse, I think we'll come back and show you where we're at then. In the meantime, good